દાદા ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. 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 ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા ભગવાનના હાલો ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા 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 ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર. દાદા ભગવાનના અસીમ જય જયકાર હો. 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 અસીમ જય જયકાર હો. દાદા ભગવાનના 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 અસીમ જય જયકાર હો. દાદા ભગવાનના
JSS Apts Pulinanandji.
हाँ, जय सच्चिदानंद।
JSS Kaushik. Okay. Can you do 3 mantra, please?
नमो वितरागाय,
Namo Vitragaya.
नमो वरिहंताणं,
Namo Paryantaram.
नमो सिद्धाणं,
Namo Siddhanam.
नमो आयर्याणां,
Namo Ayariyanam.
नमो वज्रायाणां,
Namo Vasayanam.
नमो लोये सव साहुणं,
Namo Loe Sava Salam.
ऐसो पंचनमुक्कारो,
Eso Panchanamukaro.
सर्वभावपनासनो,
Sarvapavapanasano.
मंगलाणं च सव्येसिं,
Molaram Tasavesim.
भडमं हवै मंगलम्।
Paramam Havai Mangalam.
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय,
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमः शिवाय।
Om Namah Shivaya.
जय सच्चिदानंद।
Jai Satchidanand. Lalita Ben, Kashyapbhai. Lalita Ben, any questions? Any comments?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I do. 1 second.
Okay.
Question I have is, I was reading in Akram, September 2016, page 19. It says, Kal is Samay Parinamik. I was just wanting to know,
अक्रम which is?
elaborate on that.
अक्रम which?
Akram, September 2016,
2016, okay.
page
Any page
19.
number or something? Page 19, okay. But could you read it? Because I don't think Radni will be able to pull it out, but
No, yeah.
I know. Just if you read a little bit of that, a little para or something preceding it.
Let me see. This is okay. I have to pull that up. 1 second. Yeah, September 2016, page 19. Okay. I think I have page. It was about Kal.
Yes.
15, 16, 17. Okay. I said page 19, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If let me try and pull it up. If Dr. Kashyap wants to ask, let him go ahead. I'll try and pull this up here.
Okay. Kashyap bhai?
Yeah, yes, Sachidanand. Uh, yeah, yeah, I had to, I just did with the last week I told about the computer. I had to, I had a backup, so I just did that, I set up that. So now I'm going from that. So uh, that is what that is what happened, the Vyavasthit had to accept that. So, and yeah, so this is what is the Vyavasthit, that after all the efforts, positive efforts, then you have to accept some things, that is what the Vyavasthit. So, I mean, I had to, means that didn't get repaired, and I actually knew what happened, but uh, I told the other person that this happened, then, but still I have to give the fees and all service fees and settle it, because that there were more persons, one person, it was not the fault of that person, but the technician. Uh, so that is the thing. And deep inside, I understand that is my karma. So, and after that uh, efforts, that is what I could do. So,
Perfect.
Pulinanandji.
You want to say something? Carry on.
Yeah, so that is what I want to know, that this is how my understanding of the Vyavasthit. Is it okay? What is your thoughts?
No, it's perfect. In the sense, after some time, you found that you had the backup, you sorted out, you felt the problem was something else, but still you had to pay those fees and all that. So
Yeah,
this is exactly how you have to evaluate. Okay, this was the suffering that was destined in two, three ways. Suffering in terms of duration, that for so many days uh, you had to suffer. Number two is you have to suffer in terms of money by paying service fees which were not commensurate with the things that would happen. And number three, maybe a little damage to the computer or replacement of parts. So just evaluate ke atlo hisab ase, this must be the account. And maybe this amount was destined to be paid to those service agencies and move ahead. The other learning from this experience one can get is that everything has an expiry date, suffering or the good things in life. So
yeah,
it start, it will remain and it will go. So the biggest learning would be that in case of any issues like this, which we call as bogota or suffering, patiently work on the solutions and keeping one piece of innovation at the back of our mind that even this will pass away. Even this will pass away. So we have to wait for the time to ripen when the suffering will go away. So it's a
and
phase.
further,
It's a phase.
this I what I see is that as of today, that usually electronics, they have lifetime of 5 years or at most 10 years. So 5 years, the service center of the product, they are saying that we can give 3 to 5 years. Usually the range is. So the service center is having all the parts, and they are having all the techno means right
Yeah,
persons.
no, that's the information that the reality which we have to live with. And all
Yeah.
the
So
electronics that I buy, I
that
will be able to update or service only for 5 years. The shelf life of that is that much. Anything more than that is bonus if it works.
Yeah, so 5 years service center, and then that is a bargain, after that, that with the external help you can stretch it to 10 years, so maximum. So after that, the parts also, and the quality of that. So what happened, they are not so well. equipped,
Yeah.
with
Mm.
doing the thing. So but what happens is that inside there's a fight going on, that to maintain the old thing, and there is also background all that, that the environment thing, so to maintain the old thing, and not to throw away the thing that is also goes on, and there's a conflict between that, going on constantly. So
Ah,
one side tries to maintain the old thing, and other side sees, yes, it is as of today, this is the Parmanus which is there, that things have a very short life, so that is what the conflict goes on.
so I just, it's a good point. It's valid not only for,
And it is a strong and I see a strong dislike when to throw away things, so that is and that I have noticed.
hmm. No, it's a nice point. And incidentally, your experience is related to your computer, but the core concept or the underlying principle can be extended to many things. Uh, so basically, what is happening is there are two things at play: uh, potapanu and intellect.
Mm.
Uh, so basically, what is pinching us, or we are feeling not good about it, that I have to, you know, is the intellect and potapanu. So the way to come around that is, which even Dada Bhagwan evolved eventually. Dada Bhagwan also said, first he felt, what is this electronics media? Then he said, this same electronic media, that is movies, TV at that time. There was no internet at his time, uh, which is going to pollute the world, will also be useful for spreading the message of goodness or the Sakram Vignan to the world.
Mm.
Then the fashion and all, what we see in youngsters, which are not in alignment with our cultural values. So Dada Bhagwan also found it that this is a time cycle, and with every time cycle, there is say a period of a decade or 10 years. Fashions come, they evolve, they go away. New things come, evolve, and go there. So in this Kali Yuga, as things evolve, as time passes, things will keep changing. Standards of morality, standards of eating, standards of living, standards of uh, fun, enjoyment, all are going to go through transformation. So it is a continuous process which we have to realize. Essentially, we means the intellect. The intellect has to realize that this is a continuum of time, of things evolving, and in the present times, this is the state of where things are. So what is the learning for the present era is that things will not have long shelf life. I remember the fan that I had 50 years non-stop, that ceiling fan is working. And nowadays, if you buy a fan, in a few years, it start giving noise, this, that, and you have to throw it away. So the use and throw concept, a lower shelf life of all gadgets, has just crept in. Tube light, bulb, whatever you name it, we all know that bas itna sal chalega, it'll work for this much, and after that it's go. So once that mindset, that thinking is fit into the intellect, then that pinching portion will go away. This is the norm of Kali Yuga. Like when in fruits and all, nowadays we get papaya, we get or whatever, they are not as tasty or sweet as we used to get before. So it has crept into food, into all these gadgets like TV and all this, tube lights or whatever we are used. Even our clothes, everything you see, everything is in the what we call use and throw category, low shelf life category. So you have to accept the new now. Like that this is the way it will be. This is the way it will be. So don't have too much of attachment to whatever you buy. Expect too much of output performance in terms of number of years it will work with me. Have a broad framework. इतना चलेगा बाद में इसको there is no guarantee. And then I'll come to this one slight dimension to that.
Mm.
How much it will work will also go on our own personal level stage, our own personal suffering. One small example I'll just quote. Since you mentioned computer, I'm using one phone. The same model. I bought it about I think 5 years ago. The same model someone in my other Mahatma used. And they had, after a few years, 2 or 3 maybe, issues with the screen, battery, something. And I have had not a single issue with the same model. So there's a variation at the peace level, and more than peace level, it is a variation at our own suffering level. So this is the bottom line. The bottom line is our suffering, and to pacify the intellect, is that this is the new norm. That things will have a limited shelf life. Accept it. So don't invest heavily on a very expensive. It's going to last only for this month. So mentally be ready for it. So the pinching portion, as you mentioned, is basically the intellect. And if we give a new understanding, to the intellect, that so far you have lived your life this way with this type of shelf life of all products, things, people, emotions, and all that stuff. Now the norm is changing. The Kali Yuga norms are setting in. So we have to change with the times. We have to change the time. So accept. So once that is done, then you won't feel much bad. And that bad feeling of the second thing that you mentioned, that I have to maintain the old one, can't throw away the old one. There, somewhere in Dada's terminology, it is our Potaponu which is working, our design that it should work for so much. And in terms of Kashai, if you have to classify the same thing, I would put it at lobe or greed. That lobe or greed means I'm not able to let go things, whatever it may be, money, or equipment or myself, my clothes, my thinking, my philosophy. So, not being able to let go is a thing which will be classified in the broad category of lobe. If I have to just say Krodman, Maya lobe, anger, pride, deceit, and greed. So, it falls in that category. This is just to be aware, just to aware or realize where we are, where the mind is there, where the intellect is there, where the ego is getting uncomfortable, if not bruised, it's feeling uncomfortable. For what reason? That this awareness will lead us in realizing our own prakriti. It will help us in understanding our own prakriti, or file number one. क्या क्या भरा है इसमें, what all it has brought, what are the designs it has brought, what are the programming it has brought, what are the expectations it has brought. So this is the expectations, part of discharge. All this is part of discharge.
And
So just briefly.
yes, yes.
All this is part of discharge, you see. So this will enhance our awareness. Oh, file number one, Dr. Kashyap Bhai, or I would say Pulinanandji, this is what you feel, but this is the reality. And how would have Dada Bhagwan handled this? Dada Bhagwan would have taken it as Vyavasthit, or Dada Bhagwan would have pacified. The Buddhi, he didn't have intellect, so it won't pinch him more. Immediately, Gnan or Pragna will prop up and say Vyavasthit, and just he keeps marching ahead. So, with that benchmark of how Dada Bhagwan would have taken it, and using his own preaching, sayings, or learnings, we have to talk to file number one and say, see, this is the new norm. Move on. And you know what? One thing I've realized, just tell ourselves that the issue that is causing pain to you or discomfort to you, is it relative or real? It is relative. So how much importance should you give it to it? You want to go to moksha. You want to remain in Atma. You want to get enhanced experience of the pure soul. First way then. Then focus on the real aspect. Why are you giving so much importance to relative? Relative is trial level best part of Vyavasthit. The moment you classify it as relative or real, or in another words, as permanent or as temporary. The moment you say, oh, this is temporary, the importance of that will diminish in our mind because you have a higher spiritual goal. For that, one thing is very necessary to have a higher spiritual goal at the back of our mind as the purpose of living this present life, or the purpose of the balanced years that are available to us in this present life. After having Dada's Gnan, or after having realized our pure soul, and as a result of which we have decided that, okay, now my goal is not materialistic happiness, but my goal is spiritual fulfillment, or growth, or self-realization, enhanced awareness, jagrati of the self. So moment we have that, the importance in our life, the whole purpose of our life, whatever we do, we earn, we eat, drink, or eat, or whatever, move around, is now rotate on a different parameter altogether. The earlier parameter was worldly peace, happiness, my pride, my value, my this thing. Now the whole parameter, there's a paradigm shift. Yes, now I'm my importance is on the real, on moksha, self-realization, self-awareness. Once that gradually keeps enhancing, the importance in our mind, there's nothing to be done, just a understanding or a more value or importance to that aspect, then automatically the importance of the relative will diminish. I don't have to diminish, it will diminish slowly. And once it diminishes, then the effect of that on our antaskaran will diminish, on our, I will diminish, the ego will diminish. And that's what we want. We want samadhi, we want serenity, we want acceptance of things, which is this understanding, this slightly different understanding which we have brought in terms of intellect, understanding, Podapono, is hindering. So, moment we change, this paradigm shift takes place, automatically the impact, the relative things have on our inner peace or calmness or serenity will diminish, and we will remain anchored in our inner peace or serenity. And once that remains, then we are unaffected by what's happening. And then that other realization will also come in. Whatever is happening is to pile number one, and I am separate, I am the pure soul. So once that happens, the suffering is of the neighborer, it will pass away. The neighborer is not too much impacted. Pile number one is not too much impacted. And my peace, as I am pure soul. And in Dada Bhagwan has defined this state of being as inside it will be Shukla Dhyan and outside it will be Dharma. So then we remain anchored in that, and that's exactly what we have all have to do. Dada Bhagwan, Lord Mahavir were always in that state. They had immense suffering on the external side, but they could square up all that accounts of, or accept all those sufferings by remaining in the pure soul with the at the end that I'm pure soul, I have to liberate. File number one, squaring of the accounts. This was at the back of the mind, this awareness state of being. And if we come to that piece, then finish that chapter close. Because external part, file number one part is part of Vyavasthit. Let it free float. Why should I be adamant about what I want, what is right, what is wrong? Try your level best and just leave it. See what's happening. So once you are able to come in that observer status, because it is not you who is impacted, it is file number one, and file number one is temporary, it is relative, then the whole ball game will shift. The viewpoint or the scenario with which we are looking at things will change, and that inner peace will ultimately we want that inner peace. Relative mein acha hai, if things are good in the relative, that's not a problem. The management or issues to be handled is uncomfortable situations or disturbing situations in the relative. Real mein there is no problem. So this is one way of squaring up whatever happens to us. This is your laptop or whatever. This is one way of a global viewpoint of using the same thing, and applying it to your day-to-day lives. Okay, yes.
Yeah, so here, one thing I want to clarify is that, see, you told that today the reality is that the things are of low shelf life and this thing, okay? So we have to try our best, but we have to accept that. And our with the real we have to observe, and the relative. My question is that we have to, the focus should be, the positive effort should be to increase the things shelf life, right? As much it is practical and possible, that much should be, means the focus should be there, right? That if it is possible, then the shelf life to increase that, or maintain that, or other people are doing. I heard, that I'm not able to do it. It's my weakness, so they exchange the things, after 5 years or 7 years, they exchange it and, get a new son. So it is my weakness, so as you said, the lobe is there. Yes, it is, the lobe is there, and along with that, there's a weakness that not able to adjust to new things. Okay, so that is also maybe part of the lobe. Is it right? So
Yeah, I'll tell you. No, I'll tell you. It's a valid point, and I'll also share a solution. Essentially, we are not able to. We have an attachment to our old things, and I tell you how I. There's a solution to that. When I passed my engineering, my last year was a project, and then in those years, 81 and all, we made a report and nice bound is hanging and embossed and all. Today it appears very foolish, but at that time, typing itself was a big thing. And then I had a lot of attachment to it. What a project I've done, I'll keep it with me. Then I got into job and then I kept with it for many years. My project, my nice thing, my activity. And 10 years down the line, when I was cleaning up the table, drawer, cupboard, and all this stuff, अभी इसका क्या फायदा? Nothing is of no value. So gradually I left it. Then this is only one small example. Same way, there are many things which I like. I like to preserve. It's something nice. I'm sort of emotionally attached to it. And then, as time passed, many years passed, I felt whenever I review a thing, say 4 5 years ago, is it necessary? Is it adding any value to me? Will it add any value to anyone? What is the purpose of keeping it? Even once those questions arise, have I ever seen it in so many years? Have I ever used it? No, then let it go. And that's how the process of letting go and that emotional attachment to things and maybe ideas also gradually diminished. And then now that's accelerating. So what I tell myself, okay, you want to keep it right now. Then review it after 1 or 2 years. And now has it been used? Not used. Will it be used? Not used. Throw it. So that's how that emotional attachment or the lobe or the intellect, essentially the intellect, the impact of the intellect diminishes. The hold the intellect has on our thinking diminishes, and then it accepts. And then 2 or 3 success stories, 2 or 3 good things we find. Yes, yes, it has worked. Through it does not help me. It does not help me. Not help me. Then gradually it will become a fast process. Keep, leave, throw, keep, leave, throw, keep, leave, throw. And that's how we'll remain unattached to whatever things comes to us. And we'll be able to just flow with the Vyavasthit or flow with things that is happening to us. And as you said, keeping things and all, that is good. Essentially, what is put it in different words, the same thing is use whatever we had with respect. I brought a bucket, for example, a bathing bucket. Use it properly, decently, not be rough and tough or not be too over cautious with it. A bucket, clothes, food, or as you said, laptop, whatever comes, use it with respect, with normality, and then leave it. So that was the answer to your question that I'm not able to leave the attachment to old things. Never mind.
So,
I have to use it carefully and maintain it. Yes. Maintain it to the best of abilities. You know what's the benchmark? How much to maintain, how much not to maintain? The benchmark is, or the guideline is, it should not affect your inner peace. It should not trip you down and take you in the past so that your Vartmanta, your remaining in the present, that does not get disturbed or your vitragta does not get disturbed. This is the benchmark. If a vitragta is not getting disturbed, do whatever you want to keep, maintain, do it. If a vitragta is getting disturbed, if it gets misplaced, gets dirty or anything, then you have to take a corrective action. Because the bottom line is
Pulinanandji,
liberation, bottom line is vitragta. Simple. If you use that benchmark for all your activities or all your possessions, as simple as that. I
no,
may
but
keep my my journals for
no,
10 years. If
that
it
that
goes,
is right what you saying, but what I want to say is that along with that there's another dimension that there's a I observe that there's a weakness for not able to adjust to the new things, the new way of working. That is a weakness due to that which the intellect tends to stick to the old things. That is a weakness. Okay, so
that I
because
agree. That I
that
agree. That
weakness,
happens
for
with me also.
example, new laptop means new system, new learning curve and all that. So So intellect tries to stick to the old thing, that why should I learn this new things, and devote time and all that, it hassle and all that, it feels like a hassle and one thing. And another thing which I asked, please tell elaborate on that, regarding to the moksha, the relative, how we say that it should be pure. So what exactly pure means, that the shorter shelf life, is it normal, or is it anyway hindering the moksha, means the focus should be towards more shelf life, or that is the normality, we should have in the focus, or what, how we should see,
Two things. Two things. One is not comfortable or easy to learn new things, and so we stick with the old things that we are familiar with. That happens with me also. I find it a pain to learn something new because as we age and as our priorities change, uh, once upon a time when I was younger, I would learn things very fast and would be very keen on doing it. Now I find that it's not so very easy to do it. So I tend to go with what in the known things in terms of this learning like laptop or maybe mobile or things like that. So that is fine. Leave it at that. To the it means stretch yourself to the best you're comfortable in terms of learning or need based. अभी करना ही पड़ेगा. That laptop is gone or that mobile is gone. I have to do that. I have to do it. Then just don't feel bad about it. But where possible, remain in your comfort zone in that particular area. That is the answer to your first part of the question. And the second part, what should we be doing as far as shelf life and things like that? Basically, it must not disturb or it must not hamper our vitragta. My vitragta must not get disturbed. Rag dvesh, it should not cause dvesh or it should not cause rag. Simple. That is the bottom line. Whatever situation my vitragta must remain unperturbed. If that is done, that's all right. Then it may be shelf life, food, eating habits, whatever.
Mm.
Bottom line is vitragta. In terms of the relative.
Shelf life is not so important, the vitragta is important, that is what
And that is the guiding principle for not only a thing or a shelf life of the thing, for all parameters or all dimensions to our daily living. With the person also, My son is not listening, or my XYZ relative, husband, wife, daughter, father, mother, brother, sister, whatever. Vitragta, bas, simple. Right, wrong is not important, vitragta. Because ultimately, absolute terms, or file number one itself is a decaying entity. Man, vachan, kaya, mind, body, speech. Is a decaying entity. So why should I hang on to something which is decaying anyway? It itself is a big shelf life. From birth to that, it has brought a shelf life or a lifespan. And it's going to decay. Anyway, it's going to disintegrate. Then why the hell am I so much concerned about it? वो जाने वाला है ही. Ultimately, we're all going into the crematorium. So why am I hanging on to Parmanus, which anyway are going towards the exit or towards the end of life? My hair from black will become gray and then it will even fall. And tooth, skin, everything is on the decay path. So जब body decay path में है तो body के साथ associated other things. The body itself is on the decaying part and everything associated with the body is also temporary. There this sentence has a tremendous relevance. Dada Bhagwan sentence. All these relatives are temporary adjustment and you are permanent. This sentence of the Bhagwan fits the bill, Temporary adjustment of Parmanu. Then why are you? It's a changing scenario. Don't hang on to it. This is the global understanding at the top level. And then see, as and when need based, we have to keep using this understanding. This will help us to maintain our vitragta.
Yeah. And
Because the more I'm anchored in the pure soul, the external symptom of that I'm anchored in the pure soul awareness. Pure soul awareness, I am pure. Mu Shuddhatma Chu, Me Shuddhatma, I am the pure soul. What is the external manifestation that I am in the soul? Nobody can see that. The external manifestation of my spiritual awareness is vitragta. Is vitragta.
Yeah. And the weakness which I observe, now I'm able to better handle it because of the two things, the Gyan Dada Vani and also Satsang, so continuous, touch with Satsang weekly, or time from time to time. So that is helping to give the lack of means it's helping to give energy and somehow helping to manage things. I'm able to manage the things, whatever situation coming. So challenges is coming, but I'm able to somehow manage it. That's what.
And that's good. You yourself have realized no, that your spiritual journey is on the ascent. Day by day, it's increasing, and you are finding and how and this principle is valid for all Mahatmas. How does one evaluate whether one is growing spiritually or not, or progressing on the path of moksha or liberation? Is this itself? Okay, how the inner peace is increasing and how the external attachments to things attend. Not the things. We don't have to leave the things, the attachment to the thing. The word used by Dada Bhagwan is murcha. વસ્તુનો પરિગ્રહ એ પરિગ્રહ નથી. વસ્તુની મૂર્છા એ પરિગ્રહ છે. Murcha is infatuation, the nearest English word. So it's not the things, the possession of the things which is parigrah, but it is the infatuation for the things which is parigrah. Now, once we understand that, like if you're wearing 5 earrings, rings, the finger rings, I don't mind. If one or two earring falls or gets lost, you are unaffected, you're still a parigrah. But if you have only one ring, if it disturbs you, it's getting misplaced, lost, then it's parigrah. So such few beautiful guiding principles of the Bhagwan, it can sail us through. It can sail us through. And this spiritual growth will come and only come if we have an end goal in mind, a spiritual goal or an end of journey, that this is where I want to reach, that I want enhanced soul experience, Atmanuspasht Vedana, as we said. If that is the goal, then automatically everything will lead to that. You will get the requisite information, the requisite Gnan, the requisite Purusharth, the understanding of the Purusharth and the Sanjog, circumstances to do the Purusharth, the energy to do the Purusharth, you will also get, so that you reach your spiritual destination. And that's the principle in relative world also. If I want to go to Alaska for, say, vacation, if I decide that is a goal, then automatically I will get to know how does one reach there in terms of flight or road, where does one stay, how much will it cost. All that information comes. Because I have decided I want to go to Alaska, I will get all that information. If I have not decided to go to Alaska, I won't get that information. So that relative goal then brings in the required information so that your relative goal is satisfied. In this case, you will get the information of how to go on a vacation to Alaska, which mode of transport to take, where to stay, what to see, what to eat. And you will go to Alaska, have the vacation and come back because you had set that relative goal. Same way, if you have that spiritual goal, all the required information to achieve that goal, all the required Purusharths to achieve that goal, in terms of time, energy, circumstances, you will get, and nature will align you so that you achieve that goal. So it is very important to have that spiritual goal, and then automatically your spiritual journey will start and your spiritual growth will be visible to you and to others.
Yes. Thank you for.
So that is what exactly happening. You can see that 5 years when we started in 2020 or so, around Corona, where you are, how your understanding is enhanced. You got the nimitz, na? You got the nimitz of that understanding in Gujarati. You did that course or something. Then you did all that PDF stuff in a computer. Then you got Dada Vani, and then that gave a big boost to you. As you said, I get a lot of power and energy by that. So how has that happened? How is that? That has happened because you had an end goal in mind. But I want to understand the science, come what may, finish. And then that's how all situations, circumstances came and guided you to achieve that goal. This is
Yeah.
true. This principle of spiritual growth is true for each and every Mahatma. And it's this same principle works either in the relative realm or in the real realm. It works in the both ways,
Yeah.
both ways. All over this life, what that we have taken is the result of our spiritual bhavnas, which we may have been doing over so many past births. I want to be liberated. I want inner peace. I want gnani. I want atma. Whatever has brought us here. Then same thing we are extending here. Now the other says, now you're pure soul. Now you have to be liberated. So I want moksha. Now only moksha, a spiritual goal of saying that I want to go to moksha is partially right. It won't lead to a hardcore or dedicated Purusharth, focused Purusharth, which we do from one end to other and lead to a growth. It need a pointed and a more specific spiritual agenda or a goal, which will then jump into there. And there is moksha, really speaking, moksha or liberation, really speaking, is a result. Result of what? Result of squaring up of all accounts, squaring up of mind body, cleansing of the mind body speech paramanas. So the goal should be there of inner spiritual awareness or cleansing of the mind. Moksha is a default result. Moksha is a result. Moksha is not a end by itself.
Yeah.
Okay, structure by.
Yeah. Thank you for the. Sorry, I took long. Yes. Thank you. Yes, Achida.
Jai
You're going.
Satchidanand.
Rajni
What happened?
bhai,
Yeah, I found it.
okay. Jai Satchidanand.
So,
So
okay.
it's here. Nah. કાર્ડ તો આ ખમીસ મેલું છે એટલું કહેવા
Okay.
જઈએ ને. Okay, go ahead and read. My Gujarati.
I'll just read from the top. પ્રશ્ન કરતા તમે જે કાર્ડ કહો છો, કાર્ડ શબ્દ જે વાપરો છો તેમાં એક વિચારની ગાંઠ ફૂટી, વિચાર શરૂ થયો, એનો અંત આવ્યો, એના ગાળાને કાર્ડ કહો છો? દાદાશ્રી, ના, એ કાર્ડ તો બહુ મોટો કહેવાય. પ્રશ્ન, તો એ કાર્ડ કોને કહો છો? દાદાશ્રી, કાર્ડ તો આ ખમીસ મેલું છે એટલું કહેવા જઈએ ને તે પહેલા તો કાર્ડની બહાર નીકળી ગયા હોઈએ. કાર્ડ તો સમય પરિણામિક છે. ઓકે, I just read then I elaborate.
Okay.
હા, આ ક્રમિક ક્રિયા જે છે એ કાર્ડની અંદર છે કે કાર્ડની બહારની છે? દાદાજી, જાડા કાર્ડની કેટલાય કાર્ડ સંખ્યાત કાર્ડ ભેગો થાય ત્યારે ક્રમિક ક્રિયા થાય. પ્રશ્ન, ક્રમિક ક્રિયા થાય પણ એ સમયના ગાળામાં જ ખરી ને? સમય આધીન તો ખરી ને એ ક્રિયા? દાદાશ્રી, ક્રમિક ક્રિયા બધી સમયના આધીન. સમયના આધીન કોઈ મૂળ અવિનાશી વસ્તુ નથી. પ્રશ્ન, આ સમયના આધીન જે ક્રિયા થઈ રહી છે અને એના દ્વારા પ્રગતિ થશે એવું જે માને છે તો પછી એ ક્યારેય મુક્ત ના થાય ને દાદા? એ ક્યારેય મુક્ત ના થાય. સમયના આધીન તો ફક્ત પૂતગલ એટલું જ છે, મુક્તિ સમયના આધીન નથી. પ્રશ્ન કરતા આ પેલા જૈન પરિભાષામાં સમય શબ્દ આવે છે જે તીર્થંકરો કયો છે તે શબ્દ તે જરા સમજાવો ને કે સમય શું છે? દાદાશ્રી, તું સમય શાને કહું છું? પ્રશ્ન, નાનો મોટો સર્વ કઈ જે વીતી રહ્યું છે ને પાસ થયેલું છે સમય. દાદાશ્રી, ઓહો, બરાબર, એટલે મૂળ વસ્તુ તે તું સમય કહું છું? એટલા કાળના નાનામાં નાના ભાગને સમય કહેવામાં આવે છે. પછી આગળમાં બધું જુદા જુદા કલાક, મિનિટ કહેવાય, પળ કહેવાય. આ કાળ છે તેનું પણ વિભાજન થતું સમય સુધી જાય. સમયનું પછી વિભાજન ના થાય, સમય બે ટુકડા ના થાય. હવે સમય એક મિનિટ, સમય એ એટલો બધો નાનો ભાગ છે કે આંખોના મિચકારો પલકારો થાય છે એ તેનાથી બહુ નાનો છે. આપણી જે આ પળ ને પળની જે સમય બહુ નાનો છે. પળ ના નાના ભાગ થાય પણ સમયનો નાથી નાનો ભાગ ના થાય. એક સમય, બે સમય, ત્રણ સમય પણ સમયના ટુકડા થાય નહીં, પીસીસ નહીં. એટલે કાળમાં જ સમય આવી જાય. છેલ્લો અવિભાજ્ય ભાગ એનો. હવે કાળ બે પ્રકારના. આઈ હોપ આઈ એમ કમિંગ ટુ ધ ક્વેશ્ચન સમવેર. હવે કાળ બે પ્રકારના, એક વ્યવહાર કાળ અને એક વ્યવહાર કાળ. એને આપણે શું કહીએ છીએ? પળ, વિપળ, પછી મિનિટ, કલાક, દિવસ, અઠવાડિયું, પખવાડિયું, મહિના અને ઠેઠ વર્ષ સુધી આપણે બોલીએ છીએ. જ્યારે મૂળ ખરો કાળ, નિશ્ચય કાળ એ સમય કહેવાય છે. કેટલા ભાગને અમારે સમય કહેવો? આ અણુ રૂપી છે. તેનો નાનામાં નાનો ભાગ પરમાણુ કહેવાય છે. અણુ વિભાજ્ય છે. આ લોકો અણુ હોય છે ને તેને તોડે પણ પરમાણુ આવી જવાય. હવે પરમાણુ આખા બ્રહ્માંડ છે. આ પરમાણુ બીજા પરમાણુને આમ ઓળંગે અથવા એક પરમાણુ બીજા સાથે. Okay, now is your question somewhere on this page?
It's that it's on that સમય પરિણામિક છે. કાળ તો સમય પરિણામિક છે.
And where is
Like
that?
that one. કાળ તો ખમીજ મેલું છે એટલું.
Okay. એક મિનિટ. Now I'll just so it starts with કાળ તો ખમીસ મેલું છે એટલું કહેવાય છે. તે પહેલા તો કાળની બહાર નીકળી ગયા હોય. કાળ તો સમય પરિણામિક છે. આ તો કાળ તો બહુ મોટો કહેવાય. તો કાળ કોને કહો છો? કાળ તો ખમીસ મેલું છે એટલું તે પહેલા કાળની સકાળ સમય પરિણામિક છે. આ ક્રમિક ક્રિયા છે કાળની અંદર કાળ જાડા. હા, ઓકે. So what I understand is Dada Bhagwan is defining કાળ as સમય પરિણામિક. એટલે then he સમય પરિણામિક a result of સમય, and he has defined સમય as the smallest
Indivisible
individual part of time.
time.
બસ. So Dada is saying કે now કાળ is a gross thing of the સમય. By the time you say that આ ખમીસ મેલું છે, this shirt
That
is
સમય has
dirty,
gone.
સમય has already elapsed.
Yeah.
So but I think he's trying to say that even that is too gross a level. Car, time is too gross. The subtlest form is samay, the smallest individual part of time. And
See, but that he calls as nishchay samay. It's not vyavhar samay.
it's
And he
nishchay
divides
samay.
it into two, and he says that's like an eternal. And vyavhar samay is where you get, minutes, hours, seconds, months, weeks, etc.
Because that is what we can comprehend.
Correct.
We can comprehend that. So that is called vyavhar samay or relative samay, relative time. And the nishchay time is, it can't be comprehended with our senses or intellect. It's the subject of keval gnan.
Correct.
So,
He says that only Tirthankars can see samay or can understand it.
Can understand. Only a keval gnani person with keval gnan can understand three things. Smallest individual part of time as samay.
The parmanu, the samay.
Invisible part of matter as parmanu. And one more thing is there. Space, yeah. Smallest individual part of space, yeah. It is called, I forgot the technical word for it. It's there. But yeah, only Tirthankar can see these three things. Lord Mahavir could see these three things. He said so.
I read somewhere that Tirthankars or keval jnanis are samayvarti.
They are samayvarti, yeah. Their mind is samayvarti, or they can see events flowing, sanjogo, at the samay level. Cut, things are just moving. Dada said, Amari Jagrati, my awareness is at the not samayvarti, but at the, what's the next word? ક્ષણવર્તી. My thing is at the ક્ષણવર્તી. અમને મન ક્ષણવર્તી હોય. એટલે whatever thoughts that come to our mind, moment to moment, we can see it as a gnay. It has come, going. And Tirthankar or Keval Gnani is one step below that. It is samayvarti.
Yeah, because he says over here that even blinking an eye
is too gross.
Samay is less than that.
Far less than that. So that cannot be perceived with the human senses.
Correct. So the
So
Samay Parinamic means that,
it is a result of Samay.
okay,
Samay dependent.
okay. But, yeah, okay.
Result of small Samay. Like Parmanu, Anu is an accumulation of Parmanus, molecules, accumulation of atoms in the gross level. But same way, this card is an accumulation of Samay.
Samay, okay.
Hmm.
Thank you. That's why I wanted some clarification on that when you said that.
Okay, any other question? Later?
We're reading about tattvas, so I will be bringing up more questions later. Thank you.
But you can do that in future. It's a nice piece of information which we can all have satsang on, so there on.
It's I mean, just reading about it holds me. I mean, I'm in just such awe because we were reading today that he says, स्पेस ने तुमको जगह दिया है, टाइम ने तुमको टाइम दिया है, एंड तुम रौफ मारती हो कि मैंने किया है. You know, actually you're just a bhikari, according to that. Everything is on borrowed time and space, and yet, how much our ego takes credit for it. So that just blew me away.
Yeah, that's okay. You are nothing. Not a single element can say, I have done this. Neither
Exactly.
the Parmanu can say, neither Atma can say, neither space can say, neither time can say. None of the six eternal elements can claim, I did this. It is a accumulation of joint interaction.
Yeah,
So
but
Dada,
how this ego has developed to such an extent that we take possession of everything, and actually it's all borrowed.
It's all borrowed.
Stuff. The space is borrowed, time is borrowed. It blows you. But it's
The same.
puts you in your place, actually.
Yes. It puts you in
Just
a
reading
place.
about the tattvas.
And the same thing at a grosser level for common layman understanding, what Dada Bhagwan has said, the same thing. I did this, I did that. This was at the elemental level, tattva level. But the gross level, okay, you are doing garvaras. You are taking the garva or the pride of having done any activity. How can you do anything? Because of so many other supporting favorable circumstances, you could do anything. Like I learned to drive this car, or I learned this cooking, or I did this cooking. Now you have done it. So many circumstances were there together. That time, energy, people, all that support system was there. That's why you could do it. So how can you take the pride, garvaras? And so that's the thing. So then he says you should also not be the karta. If you become karta, you take the garvaras. And extending the same logic, he said you should also not see the other person as the doer or karta. Because even he is driven by his own karmas and his set of situations.
That's the crux. That's the
That's the
crux.
crux. That's the
Not
crux.
seeing the other person as the doer.
So this is at the application level in day-to-day living, this concept. And then stretching that to the elemental or tattva level is what you just described. That is, the six elements together, coming together, and circumstances are arising. And so we can't be owner or doer of that thing. And to just a tangential reference to that, my experience, if I may share, years down the line, I was in Africa for spiritual satsangs and all, and we were going by a boat or a mini ship, if I may say, from somewhere in Zambia, Zimbabwe to Zanzibar. Zanzibar is an island off the shore, and it was a boat ride, and in the middle of the ocean, we had huge waves coming in and going down. My boat would rise 4 or 5 feet up and go down, up, down. And what a feeling it was. And just if I put my CA all around water, not a single piece of land or anything. and said, "Agar isme gaya, fall, you are nowhere." And at that time, you realize you're a small speck in the entire world, or in the Brahmand, or in the ocean itself. You're such a small piece of nothing that you could be just wiped out, phat karke, and all your ego, everything goes away. At a different understanding, who are you? Nothing, a small speck in the ocean. And it could be just thrown out, blown out just by a paw if nature fury arises. So that is the realization. We realize, okay, who are we? What are
Yeah,
we saying? I
that
am that.
puts
That's
it
an
in
experience.
perspective
That's a
that
perspective.
you're just a speck.
That's a speck. That's a speck. That's so from all dimensions, from the tattva dimension, the elemental, six eternal element dimension, then in the Garvaras, the physical application level. Dada Bhagwan has really put things in a very simple day-to-day do's and don'ts, or
Mm.
actionables, what we should be doing
And
to
how
comfort with.
he is the only one who has said that space is what drives is your karmas are different, you look different, everything, it's a space,
Now, it's
the
a very nice point that is brought around.
uh-huh,
This is in the scientist language, physics people and all. They have these two dimensions or three dimensions of reality, three dimension X, Y, Z, as they say. Then they have introduced the fourth dimension as time factor, which Dada
correct,
Bhagwan.
correct.
Today I am over here in place A doing some activity. Then that same Parmadu, if someone else comes over there in my place, then
Mm-hmm.
what has happened? He has got those same things, but the time has elapsed between the two.
Correct,
So
correct.
there I am. At what point of time is the fourth dimension of all realities?
Mm-hmm.
And because of this space dimension, there's a distinction between people. My face is different from others' face, because although we are all Parmanus, although we are human beings, but we were born at different points of different places, different space dimension. So the difference is there. Otherwise, everybody's face would be identical. We wouldn't even realize who we are. So space is the distinguishing factor. Parmanus being common. And that is why we get different shapes, size, or face forms and things like that. A very subtle physical point, from the physics point of view.
Mm-hmm.
It's really mind-boggling, and that's where the concept or element of time creeps in. Time only comes if there is movement. If Parmanu A is here, Parmanu is B there. If they are at their respective places, there is nothing. But if
Mm-hmm.
Parmanu A comes from here and goes to there, then the concept of time arises.
Exactly.
This is how
That's when
space
that
and time are
Samay comes
interrelated.
in. Mm-hmm.
Ah, otherwise the concept of time is just not there. So time is interlinked with movement.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the that's where the ever changing nature of Parmanus takes place. As the Bhagwan has said, that this world is ever changing. The Parmanus are also ever changing in the purest form. One is a set of Parmanus which is in the Pudgal, or we call Vikrut Parmanu or Visheshbha. And one is the pure Parmanus,
Mm-hmm.
unattached. Even they, intrinsically, their property is of a changing nature. They keep coming, going, coming, going, coming, going. That is, they come, they bond together. After some time, they disintegrate. Now, this is a natural phenomena
Oh,
happening
this is
in.
of Parmanus that are not charged? Is
Yes,
that what
this
you're
is
saying?
this. Yes, yes.
Okay.
These are the uncharged pure Parmanus, which we also call as Vishrasra Parmanus.
Mm-hmm.
This is the intrinsic property of that. So they
Mm-hmm.
are also in a constant state of natural motion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why then extending that logic to our worldly reality, it says in this world, everything is of a parting nature. All circumstances are of a parting nature. It's a constant flux of movement.
Mm-hmm.
Events, people, body, karma, everything is constantly changing, 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 changing.
Mm-hmm.
So change is a constant dimension. That is why Dada Bhagwan, then he put it in a one line, that all these relatives a temporary adjustment.
Readjustments.
Ah, I planted a pot or a flower in my pot in my house. That is a temporary adjustment. Flower growing up, blossoming up. That is a temporary adjustment. Me, my
Mhm.
body is a temporary adjustment. My marriage, my children, my job. That is a temporary adjustment. My whole life it's a temporary adjustment, birth to death, and then a new birth.
Exactly. Exactly.
So
When you,
everything,
that's what he says. When your body
all
is not yours,
all
where's the question of
circumstances
anybody else being yours?
all circumstances are of a parting nature. What a subtle and a very profound statement. Appears simple, but is extremely profound statement. It is interlinking the tattva level, a six element forms, and the worldly level, our day-to-day living. And only you are constant. Only the pure soul is constant, unaffected. A very profound statement. If you introspect and ponder on it, it's mind blowing. A nice interaction with you guys on Lalita Ben. You brought out some very fine points of Tattva elemental level. I think we are finishing
Yeah,
our time.
then,
Jai
so
Satchidanand.
recite three mantra, please.
Namo Vitragay,
Namo
Namo Vitragaya.
Vitragaya.
Namo Arihantanam,
Namo
Namo
Arihantanam.
Arihantaram.
Namo Siddhanam,
Namo Siddhanam.
Namo Ayariyanam,
Namo Ayariyanam.
Namo Vajjayanam,
Namo Uvajjayanam.
Narayanam.
Namo Loye Sauva Sahunam.
Namo
Namo
Loye Sabva Sahunam.
Savanam.
Eso Panchana Mukkaro,
Eso
Eso
Panchana Mukkaro.
Panchanamukaram.
Tava Bhava Panasano,
Sabba Pava
Sabapava.
Panasano.
Manglanancha Savese,
Manglanam
Mangalam
Chasavesam.
Chishuvesha.
Padamam Havai Mangalam.
Paramam Havai
Pramam
Mangalam.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om
Bhagavate
Namo
Vasudevaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Jai Satchidanand.
Jai